Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start our Saturday class with some prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhuvava Swaha. Tatsavitravare Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Asto Ma Sadgamya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya Mrityorma Amritam Gamya Om Sanavavatu Sanabhunatu Saviryam Karvavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavai Om Shanti 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 Om. So Yog Darshan written by Rishi Patanjali. We are still on chapter 1 and we are going to go through verse number 30 today. 30. Vyadhi Satyan Sanshay Parmad Alasya Avirati Bhranti Darshan Alabdhabhoomikatvanavasthitatvani chittavikshepastentarayah. We've been learning about the japa. And he has been telling us that with the power of the japa, we can get rid of the obstacles which come on this path of spirituality or purity. So now in this verse, he is enumerating all the obstacles which can come. Vyadhi. Again, this is a compound word. V means supreme, highest. Adhi means disease. Normally, Adhi means the physical ailment. Since this is a scripture of Raj Yoga, so Vyadhi means a disease of the mind. Satyan, mental dullness. Inability to put our thoughts in action. Satyan. This is a sutra number 30. Sanshay, doubt, being skeptical. Parmad, negligence, carelessness. Alasya, laziness. It's almost like an inability to engage due to heaviness. Avirati. Rati means craving, clinging. And avirati, see, V means absence of and A means not. So together when we look at it, this avirati means inability to maintain the state of mind free from the sense cravings. Avirati. Instead of having the craving for knowledge and the divinity, we just have a craving for the sensuality. Avirati. So that's almost like a failure to maintain a dispassionate state. Bhranti darshan. Darshan means seeing or perceiving. Bhranti means illusion. Fictitious, imaginary. So together, Bhranti darshan means a false or distorted perception of objects or events with a compelling sense of their reality. Bhranti darshan. Alabdhabhoomikatvanavasthitatvani. Again, A means not, labdh means achievement, like a found, labdh. Bhoomikatva, essential foundation. So together it means inability to touch the goal. Inability to know the real meaning and the purpose of practice. Alabdhabhoomikatvanavasthitatvani. णवयणतभ, inability to maintain inner stability. Or inability to maintain constant awareness. Here and there we have awareness, but it just flits away. We just slide back. Here we think we are progressing, and next day we think that, hey, we don't have that enthusiasm. We think something else is more important. It could be the charms of the pleasures, or even the responsibilities of our family. We just become lazy. Chit means the deeper part of mind. Vikshep means distraction. Te means they. Antaraye, obstacles, impediments. So this verse says disease, mental imbalance, doubt, carelessness, laziness, inability to withdraw, compose and rest, hallucination, inability to reach, grasp or comprehend the goal, inability to remain grounded are the obstacles. And these are the distractions to the mind. And jap is the key to overcoming obstacles that arise in the course of spiritual practice. That's why jap is so important. And we saw that he brought a twofold result of the jap to us. He said all mental faculties turn inward towards the center of consciousness with the jap. We are thinking about the world, but then with the help of the jap, we are drawing inside. And second thing he said, because of the jap, all obstacles vanish. And these are the obstacles he mentioned. Altogether, there are 9 of them. This is a very bold and definitive promise. This Rishi is giving it to us. Jap makes the mind become God-centered. But remember that he said that the jap should be done not just orally. It got to be done with a bhavana also. If your thoughts, your deeper level of your thoughts, the bhavanas are not attached to it, attached to those words, then it's not a jap. And that's the only way you can make your mind God-centered and bring freedom from all obstacles. So with this statement, Rishi Patanjali is clarifying his position in regard to God's role in our quest for freedom and happiness. We all know that goal of yoga sadhana is to surrender ourselves to God. We need to replace our I amness, which is called asmita, with God consciousness. We got to learn how to trade our actions and their results for God's grace. And we got to attain freedom from the binding forces of the nature with a full awareness that the special Purusha, the primordial teacher, alone is omniscient. This is what he has been telling us in all these verses. So the quest for achieving this goal begins with knowing our own mind first. That's why right in the beginning, he talked about attain the mastery over the modifications of the mind. Yoga chittavikshepastentarayah nirodha. We got to turn the mind towards our true self. But all of this journey, even the initial thrust of the journey and continuity of the journey can come only with Shraddha. Shraddha in God. In God's unconditional grace. Always feel that there is a God who is gracing us, who is very lovingly uplifting us towards Him. He's waiting, just like a mother is always waiting for the child to come home, to embrace the child in the arms. The same way, God is also waiting for us. So with this job, he says, you can be completely free from all obstacles, because these are the obstacles we can come on the way. He says, with the job, you can remove the obstacles. But our doing the job, this contemplation of God has to be complete. Because we all know this popular saying, you are what you think. So job has to be with the thoughts, with the mind. If you have no faith in God's unconditional love, you have no reason to contemplate on God and seek God's guidance. You won't feel it. Lacking trust in inner reality, you go on searching for security in the external world. Whenever we think that we can get security or happiness or joy in the outer world, that means we lack trust in this reality. And that's why we go through all the disappointments. Because in this world, nothing is predictable. Something looks very charming today, but next day, it's not charming anymore. It changes. Because we all know that everything in this world is subject to decay and death and destruction. Although we claim that we do not believe in an unseen divine being, some people say that, or we don't have a full trust in it. And we keep on blaming intangible forces for our powerlessness. And we just stay hanging in there. And at a deeper level, we are caught in the snare of our belief and disbelief. One day we have a trust, the other day something goes wrong, we just lose all the trust. So this leads to lack of trust in yourself, lack of trust in your loved ones, friends, family. Because one day somebody can be helpful, the next day may not be, or they are not capable of helping us. That's why Rishi Patanjali said, have trust on something which is always there. And he called it Ishwar. Ishwar. That's why he used those words over there when he defined Ishwar for us. And that's how the very first obstacle, the vyadhi, the mental illness or imbalance, can be cured. So the cure for this obstacle lies in our masterful formula, japa. Mind is feeling agitated, mind is feeling restless, mind is feeling weak, connected with God. With the help of the japa, that's all we have to do. Let's take a closer look at the relationship between japa and removal of mental sickness. Because you remember in the verse number 28, he defined that japa means to contemplate on the meaning of pranav, om. Pranav is om, and the divine being denoted by it. So it's not just how deeply we can say Om, how beautifully we can say Om, but we got to remember this Om is nothing but God, divine being. Literal meaning of the word jap takes us straight to the core of the practice of jap actually. The small word jap, we can say it jap also. It's a composite of j and p, 2 syllables. J means going back to again and again. That means j. That means reaching far, because when we are going again and again to something, that means we are reaching for it. We are moving towards it. Or you can say we are flowing towards it. That's a j. And pa means protection, guidance, nurturance. So together, when we look at jap, the meaning of jap, it means receiving protection, guidance, and nurturance by virtue of going back to the very source of protection, guidance, and nurturance from the divine being. So having that kind of a faith is very important. Why do we go back to the nature? We think we can get the happiness from the influential people or from the money or from the places, because we think we can get happiness. But our rishis, they say the source of happiness is only God. So the sadhak says, with the help of the jap, I'm going to keep on going towards that, where all of this lies. So remember that when you do jap or when you say Om. The question is, in actual practice, how do we do this kind of a jap? How to contemplate on God? How to embrace God? And how to let ourselves flow with God consciousness? Answer to this question in the yogic scriptures. All the yogic scriptures and the Upanishads, they say it in one voice. They say, infuse your mind and heart with the determinate truth. This entire world issues forth from one single reality. That means the source of all this is God. Infuse your mind with that. Go to the source. So infuse your mind and heart with the determinate truth. Remember, the world is the manifest form of the absolute. This beautiful philosophy says, it's not that God is sitting somewhere else. God is here too. But this is the manifest form of the absolute. The absolute pervades every aspect of the manifest world. You too come from the Supreme. You exist in the Supreme. You are protected, guided, and nurtured by the Supreme. And so is everyone else. And the Supreme reality is known by the word Om. And you are that. The problem is that we just get so enamored by the form, whether it's our own body or whether it's say Prakriti, and we forget the essence, which is God. So with the help of the jap, we are supposed to pierce through the Prakriti and get into the essence. That's how we are supposed to do the jap. That's why when we do the jap, eyes closed. We turn our attention inward. And we want to just connect ourselves with that higher reality. As you constantly, consistently contemplate on both the content and intent of this message, what happens? The negative tendencies of your mind, they begin to fall away. It's like your tamsikta, your rajsikta, it will just flow out. You become a positive person and you lose your taste for finding faults in others also. The world is no longer an ugly place and life is no longer a punishment. Okay? You see no reason to compete with anyone because you see the oneness, the unity. The sorrow and joy of others become your sorrow and joy. Because your mind and heart, they are filled with the experience of oneness with all. The infusion of this all-encompassing consciousness leaves no room for you to experience isolation and alienation. You will see that all the conflicts, all the contradictions, as images drawn on sand. And this conviction is called Shraddha when you have that kind of a faith. And remembering the name of God, it could be Om or you can have any other mantra, it doesn't matter. He just gave us a very simple, short from the Vedas, Om. But we got to do it faithfully. With the mind and heart infused with the awareness that everything and everyone, including yourself, is enveloped by God. That is called japa. Okay? So the sadhak joined or yoked in japa is completely free from all obstacles. So you can see that the japa has to be done properly. So that's why in this sutra, Patanjali states this truth to us. That this is what happens. No matter how sincere and punctual you are, your practice is occasionally interrupted by sickness and procrastination. So he says, if you have this kind of a Shraddha, this obstacle you will overcome. You won't procrastinate. You won't say that you will do it tomorrow. Or you will not say that my secular duties are more important than my sacred duties. You will know what is more important to me. This is what he's talking about. And often doubt shakes our conviction also. Because people wonder, am I doing the right practice? Am I on the right path? How do I know that I'm not making a mistake? So that obstacle also goes away when you feel that flow of your mind towards that purity. You know this is right. No matter what others say, you know you are right. Nobody can shake you up. Nobody can put a doubt in your mind. And even one who is endowed with the highest degree of resilience becomes careless and negligent sometimes. But if you keep on doing the job, have a faith in God, you will not become negligent. Our prejudices, our preoccupations, preconceived notices make us unreasonably judgmental sometimes. So that obstacle also gets removed. self-condemnation, guilt, alienation from ourselves and others. They really draw a lot of or drain a lot of energy from us. We want to move up, but we just keep on wasting our energy. With the help of the job, we stop that leakage also. Further, the inability to comprehend or reach the goal, the inability to remain grounded, they will disrupt the continuity of our practice. And Rishi Patanjali promises, with the help of the job, even that obstacle, you won't slide down. With the help of the job, you will keep on moving up. So the quickest, easiest way to remove the 9 obstacles is with the help of the job. Because we know as long as these obstacles persist, we keep on exhausting our energies, attempting to get rid of them. And there's no time or energy left for actual practice. So that's why Rishi Patanjali is talking about it. We got to learn how to infuse our life with God consciousness through complete absorption in the job. In job. And you know that this job can be done 24/7. You don't have to sit down and do the job. Job can be done because it's happening internally. You are flowing your mind towards it. You can be walking, you could be doing the exercise, you could be cooking, cleaning, teaching, learning. Still there is a job going on inside. That should never be broken. When you wake up in the morning or even in the middle of the night, you should be doing the job. Whether you are feeling perfectly healthy or sick, job. There shouldn't be a time when we are not doing job. That's the practice we need to do. And then in next verse, there are some unpleasant companions of these 9 obstacles. Any one of these 9 can give you this kind of a outcome. So that's why they are companions. Dukh dormanasya, angamejyatva, shwas par shwas vikshepasahabhuvah. Dukh. Dukh means it could be physically, mentally, you are filled with undesirable impurities and waste matter. Dukh. That's why most commonly dukh is translated as pain or suffering. See, do word is for the unpleasant or bad. Kha is the space. Okay, so there's a space inside us. That space is not feeling good. Dormanasya, bad or negative frame of mind. It also means animosity, compelling sense of hatred or dislike. Dormanasya. Angamejyatva, that means trembling. See, ang means the limbs, trembling of the limbs or the organs. Shwas is inhalation, prashwas is exhalation. Vikshepasahabhuvah, vikshep is distraction. It's almost like letting the mind fall apart. Sah means with, bhuv means to be born, birth. So vikshepasahabhuvah means the conditions that accompany distraction. So pain, mental agitation, trembling or shakiness of limbs, like abnormal or disturbed, inhalation and exhalation, all arise with the aforementioned obstacles. That means the obstacles which he mentioned in the previous verse, these 4 more can accompany those. So no matter what you do, according to Patanjali, when you encounter even one of the 9 obstacles, you will be confronted with these 5 further conditions. Okay, dukh, dharmanasya, angamejatva, shwas prashwas. Pain, mental agitation, trembling of the limbs, and abnormal inhalation and exhalation. Pain is a condition whose very presence demands removal. You don't like pain at the physical level, at the mental level, or even at the spiritual level. Spiritual level pain is what? Hey, how come I cannot see God? God is everywhere. How come I don't see it? That's a spiritual pain is needed for a sadhak. Once you are struck by disease, you cannot regain your repose until the disease is cured. No matter how sincere you are, you cannot put your whole mind into your practice because it will be repeatedly distracted by the pain of disease. That's a dukh. The desire for spiritual awakening compels you to do the practice, but the distractions caused by pain will not allow you to attend to your practice without interruption. And consequently, what happens? You become agitated. Dharmanasya. You even become angry at yourself, angry at the disease, or even angry at those, because you always, human nature is we always hold somebody else responsible for our pain. So we get angry at those people too. We say that we cannot do the practice. So this mental agitation is the ground for anger. And if this anger is not quelled, it goes on searching for a focus. And that's where the animosity breeds. A person filled with animosity manufactures his or her own enemies. And mental agitation, your limb and organs quiver, shake. And that also disrupts your deep and smooth flow of your breath. And it becomes noisy, shallow, jerky. Cannot do the sadhana with that kind of a breath. As your mental agitation deepens, you begin to create a pause between your inhalation and your exhalation, creating the condition that disturb the normal beating of your heart also. So this whole chain of events stops you. Natural balance of our body is thrown out. The mind, which uses the body as a tool to materialize its aspirations, suffers from frustrations as well as helplessness. That's what he's telling us in this verse over here. The quickest and the easiest way to remove these 9 obstacles and 5 conditions accompanying them is described in the next verse. Okay, so we can all relate to these conditions, antaray and sabhuvah. Okay, now let's just quickly look at it, start at least, and then next week we can finish it, because I'm sure you would like to know how can we. Sure, job is good, he told us about it, but he's further clarifying for us how to do the job. He says, tat pratished artham ek tattva abhyasa. Tat means that. And over here, that means 9 obstacles and 5 conditions that accompany them. Okay, 9 and 5, 14. Pratished artham, to prevent, to negate, or to overcome these obstacles. Ek tattva abhyasa. Ek means one, tattva means element or truth. Abhyas means practice. Practice of one single reality. Because there's only one. What is one? One is God. So practice pertaining to only one, that truth. So meditation on one single truth is the way to overcome these obstacles. So Rishi Patanjali is reinforcing the idea of embracing God through a prolonged, uninterrupted practice of japa. That's why I was saying, sleeping, sitting, standing, working, not working, walking, whatever you do, there should be an internal japa going on. Our rishis, they call it a japa japa. Unbroken japa. Constantly there should be a japa going on. With a bhavana also. So it is important to remember that Rishi Patanjali has a very concrete idea of the practice. Because according to him, practice means making an effort to stay there. There means the realm of consciousness where truth, the absolute reality, resides in its pristine form. So continuous, uninterrupted practice that allows the mind to remain focused on the external as well as internal. When you're looking outside also, look for that eternal reality. Never changing reality is the way to make the mind stable. That's why our rishis, they said, God is in a tree also, God is in a cow also, God is in the clouds also, God is in the sun also. There's no place where God is not. So when you're looking outside also, look for God. When you're looking inside also, look for God. It's eternal. As practitioners, we should understand that we can never ever cultivate a one-pointed mind by focusing on objects that are not stable in themselves. So that's why this is the only thing which is stable. There's no place where God is not. It's homogeneous. There's no object in this world that can be used as a focal point for meditation, that kind of meditation. Objects change. Any object. Or even the perception of that object changes. So that's why meditation should be done. This is ek tattva abhyas. Focusing the mind on ever-flowing thought constructs is detrimental to practice. We'll talk a little bit more about it. We'll start from here next week. And I want you to just go back, see the continuity where it started. You should go back a few verses before, or even beginning of this, where he gave us the definition of yoga. And now he's telling us, sure, you are practicing, obstacles can come. And then there are some side effects of those obstacles too. But then again, he's telling us, keep on practicing abhyas. What kind of abhyas? Ek tattva abhyas. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you so much.